You know what's terrifying me? Not robots taking over, but the fact that we are funding the AI arms race through our own retirement accounts and we never give consent for that. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are diving into the collision between AI, human rights, responsible AI, accountability, and yes, the future of AI, the fear of AI takeover, and how data capitalism sits at the center of it all. Today I want to speak honestly, just me as a human rights lawyer, a thinker, and someone trying to figure this out in real time. What if your investments were secretly underwriting the largest technological experiment in human history? That's the reality of market cap index funds. You don't choose to invest in AI, your retirement savings do it for you. No permissions asked, no consent needed, financial autopilot. And autopilot has no sense of responsible AI, ethics, or even governance. That is data capitalism, and we all are already inside it, whether we like it or not. So let's go deeper. What if the strongest AI companies today were powered less by profit and more by financial illusions? Legal, compliant, but deeply destabilizing. Private credit, hidden debt, structured vehicles, circular financing. It's complexity as a business model, complexity as a shield, and complexity as law evasion. We are regulating cookies, meanwhile entire economic architectures are hidden in footnotes. This is the shadow side of AI. Imagine the companies passing the same dollar back and forth and calling it growth. That is circular financing, not illegal, but dangerously deceptive. The illusion of expansion without the substance. If complexity is the castle, opacity is the drawbridge. Regulators can't audit what they can't decode, and that's the point. If AI companies stumble, guess who becomes the safety net? Not VCs, not shareholders, you, me, taxpayers. Because AI companies are now too big to fail. They touch national security, cloud infrastructure, GDP projections, strategic competition. If they fail, entire economies shiver. This is systemic exposure. Are we funding innovation or subsidizing the next bailout? Capitalism, it repeats its shape. Different decade, different asset, same underlying logic. Privatize the upside, socialize the downside. AI doesn't need to fail. It just needs to grow slower than promised. Expectation is the bubble, not the technology. Let's go philosophical. AI is growing faster than regulation, but slower than hype. That's precisely where bubbles form, in the gap between reality and imagination. But that gap is widening. AI isn't destiny, it's a bet. And the bet is leveraged. Now let's add legal theory. The law isn't protecting you from AI, it's protecting AI from you. We are regulating bias, hallucinations, transparency, but not capital, infrastructure, supply chains. We are regulating the smoke, not the fire. And the fire spreads quietly. Time for the theorists. Every bubble in history comes with a myth. AI's myth is scale is equal to truth. Karl Marx has already warned us about fictitious capital, values extracted from futures that don't even exist yet. AI embodies exactly that. Debt today, revenue tomorrow, narrative forever. This is speculative capitalism with GPUs. Let's keep going. If Marx diagnosed capitalism's addiction to the future, Zuboff diagnosed its addiction to us. Surveillance capitalism, our lives as raw material. Prediction was the product, and now we are the supply chain. Human experience becomes fuel. We never consented to that. So let's bring in Foucault. If your life becomes raw material, who owns the refinery? As per Foucault, power shapes what is possible. AI companies shape what you know, how you know, who gets to know. This is epistemic governance. Algorithms as the new truth architects, and we adapt to their logic. If AI shapes knowledge, data capitalism shapes hope. Graeber taught us, financial system is built on promises. AI is a cathedral of promises. Promises become collateral, collateral becomes bubbles. The story is the product. Let's add Naomi Klein in the conversation. Crises create opportunity, especially for those selling the solution. Klein warned us about the shock doctrine. Fear as fuel. AI uses fear of falling behind, fear of China, fear of irrelevance. Urgency becomes policy. Fear becomes investment. The pattern repeats. We fear superintelligence, but the danger is supercapitalism. Deleuze said we live in controlled societies. Algorithms don't punish, they guide, they modulate, they shape. You can't rebel against a probability score. You just comply. Polanyi next. Data isn't the new oil, we are. Polanyi said capitalism invents fictitious commodities: land, labor, money. Today, human experience, commodified, packaged, sold. At massive scale, Lata now joins the party. Modernity is an illusion. Systems are always messier than we admit. AI exposes fragility, infrastructure, economies, cloud dependencies. A single supply chain glitch can trigger cascading failures. We aren't in control, we are balancing on a tightrope built by 5 companies. Now, the personal moment. Here's the moment I realized my human rights training was too small for the AI's world. I wasn't in court, not in a meeting, just alone, researching, digesting, comparing laws. GDPR, CCPA, DPDP Act, EU AI Act. Brilliant, essential, but not complete. None to my mind addressed the actual power. Capital, compute, debt, monopolies. I realized it immediately. The law was chasing shadows. Classical legal thinking is linear. AI systems are quantum. So we need quantum jurisprudence, non-linear, contextual, entangled, adaptive. A legal imagination big enough for the world we are entering. If AI rewrites power, law must rewrite itself. Let's just zoom back out. AI governance today is like putting seatbelts on a rocket ship. Ethical? Yes. Sufficient? Absolutely not. We regulate bias, hallucinations, transparency, explainability, but not monopolies, capital flows, debt structures, systemic exposure. The existential threat isn't runaway AI, it's runaway incentives. This is where law needs courage, not panic, courage. Now the bigger question. Are we in an AI bubble? No. We are in something scarier, an AI dependency trap. A bubble pops, a dependency persists. AI is becoming the substrate of society. Name anything: healthcare, education, policing, transport, employment screening. This isn't optional infrastructure, it's mandatory infrastructure. That's dependency, not innovation. And dependency has consequences. Who benefits when society depends on a product? Never the public, always the owner. Yuval Noah Harari warned us, control the stories, control society. AI writes stories now, summaries, scripts, captions, recommendations, knowledge itself. It shapes the narrative of the substrate of everyday life. It shapes the narrative substrate of everyday life, not through force, through convenience. So let's turn back to law. Today's AI laws are a quilt made of band-aids. GDPR, CCPA, DPDP Act, EU AI Act, BIPA. Important, necessary, but incomplete to my mind. These laws treat AI like an app, not like a geopolitical apparatus. What we really need are new categories of law. Compute monopoly law, risk-weighted capital ratios for large models, public audit rights, capital transparency requirements, systemic risk councils, infrastructure neutrality mandates, disclosures of off-balance sheet financing. If banks require oversight, why don't models that influence elections? We need laws that regulate power, not paperwork. Now let's get raw for a moment. I worry we are building AI governance on hope, not strategy. We assume companies will cooperate, disclosures will be honest, audits will be rigorous. Every lawyer knows better. Systems exploit gaps, especially trillion-dollar ones. AI's power is outpacing our trust mechanisms. This is not pessimism, it's realism. Let's keep going. AI won't destroy democracy. Unchecked capital will. This is where Gramsci becomes relevant. We are living between worlds, old laws fading, new ones not yet here. He called these morbid symptoms. All hype is one, regulatory paralysis is another. But Gramsci believed in counterpower, collective awakening. AI governance, it needs that energy. I remember once a young engineer was telling me, I don't know if I'm building something good or just something big. In fact, his honesty shook me. He wasn't cynical. He was actually being human. AI developers, they feel the excitement and the dread. I feel it too. And I'm sure you too. As a human rights lawyer myself, I oscillate often between awe and fear nowadays. That's not weakness. It's awareness. Now the paradox. If AI collapses, the economy shakes. If AI succeeds, democracy shakes. This is a dual risk system. No precedent in history. Nuclear tech was centralized, AI is distributed. The real challenge isn't runaway intelligence, it's runaway incentives. We must regulate capitalism to regulate AI. Now we can bring Adam Smith into this chat. People forget Adam Smith feared monopolies more than he loved free markets. He warned all of us, the masters of mankind have their own interests in mind. So today's compute giants are exactly what he feared. Markets require fragmentation, AI requires consolidation. That is the contradiction of our era. So let's get philosophical again. The question isn't whether AI becomes conscious. The question is whether we stay conscious as its power expands. Hannah Arendt warned us, the danger is not evil, it is thoughtlessness. Unquestioned systems, unexamined momentum, uncritical acceleration. AI today is not malicious, it is unreflective. Law must slow us down just long enough to think. And that brings us home. AI won't break the world, but power without oversight will. AI is not a gadget, it's a political economy, a financial engine, a governance structure, a narrative force, a dependency. It must be regulated like the new economic regime it is. If this resonated, subscribe, comment, share. Let's build a community shaping law, justice, and the future of AI together. I'll see you in the next one.